Portland Trailblazers and Deandre Ayton, their center, they are finalizing a contract buyout. He will become a free agent. This is a sudden, surprising addition to the free agent market because he had $35 million left on his deal next season, but he's set to become a free agent. This is a fresh opportunity for both sides. We know the Blazers just added Yang Hansen at number 16 overall pick, so they're pretty deep in terms of young, talented bigs. Listen, Deandre Ayton is one of 4 players to average 10 points, 10 rebounds the last 7 seasons in the NBA. And remember, just in 2021, he was a top 3 player on that Suns team that made it to the NBA Finals against the Bucks. So this is a guy that has a lot of talent.
Yeah, when he came over from Phoenix, he was supposed to be the future. Now on his way out, they got Donovan Clingan and Hansen, like you said, so we'll see where they go.
If we talk about a big man that's getting a buyout in the Pacific Northwest, Deandre Ayton, who has finals experience, still, in his mid to late 20s. Ash, what do we think of the buyout and the market for a Deandre Ayton?
I think the Los Angeles Lakers are already picking up the phone. If they're not, they should be. You named all the points. They need a big. They need to capitalize on Luka. And to do that, he needs a center, and he needs one bad. He had 2 in Dallas with Lively and Gafford. And I've been saying this the entire time, and I continue saying it, in order to get the most productivity out of Luka, he needs a center to play with. It is what makes his game go. And now that Dorian Finney-Smith, I know we're going to talk about him in a second, I know that he's getting some rumblings and some, interest from another team in the Western Conference. This is not going to be a championship contender Los Angeles Lakers team, but this is going to be a team that's always in the conversation when you talk playoffs, is always going to be in the conversation even when you talk Western Conference playoffs because of LeBron and Luka. But the fact that LeBron did not sign a long-term deal, this is a type of a piece that you can keep within your organization for years to come post LeBron. You have to start thinking about the future with Luka at the forefront. LeBron's time is coming to an end, and this is the type of player that you bring in to not only maximize your star player, your new franchise player, but to make sure that you are a competitive team next season. Rim protection, defense, all those things that the Lakers desperately lack, Deandre Ayton brings to the table.
Helps, but not enough? Is that what you're saying?
Helps, but not enough.
Okay.
But you're not going to solidify this Lakers team this offseason. This is going to be a years-long process, but I think Deandre Ayton's a good piece to start the puzzle.
Yeah, desperate times when you're looking at Deandre Ayton for, listen, he's an interesting case.
You're shady today.
No, listen, Deandre Ayton is an interesting case because he's become a punchline in the NBA.
Yeah.
But if you look at some of the stretches he had in Portland and certainly what he did in Phoenix is a distant memory, but there's still kernels of that in your head of the level that he can get to when he's motivated, when he's in the right setting, and when he's used properly. Can you count on that consistently? I think if you're being honest with yourself, Deandre Ayton should be a backup. Deandre Ayton should be playing 20, 22 minutes a game for you. But the Lakers are so desperate for a big man. She makes a good point. We got to fill that slot. But I would be looking at, in a vacuum, I would be looking at Deandre Ayton as a backup guy that gives me 20 to 22 minutes. And I think he can be really productive in that sense.
What about a combo of like Ayton and Capella, who's a vet? You can get him for cheap. Split the time between that. You want to find a vet center if you can, because that's less of a commitment. But I do think DeAndre Ayton could be a nice long-term or longer-term.
Yeah, it depends how much you believe that he can build on what he did in Portland. I mean, personally, I'd be much more interested in Clint Capella.
There's attention. Former #1 overall draft pick DeAndre Ayton is finalizing a contract buyout with the Blazers to become a free agent. Ayton is a 27-year-old center who was part of the Suns' finals run in 2021. You may have heard, Lakers are in the market for a center. David, is DeAndre Ayton the missing piece for LA?
No, he's not. They're not going to find a missing piece in free agency or these mid-level guys they get to, bolster their bench. DeAndre Ayton can help. The guys like the centers that they are looking for, they can help. The thing that's going to elevate the Lakers to a championship level team is Luka Doncic being a top 3 to top 5 player in the league. Now, we saw the potential for what Luka Doncic could do with that team when he came in, but he was still hurt. He was still not in his best shape. They played their absolute best defensively for 3 months and then petered out. What they need is a full season, a full MVP level Luka Doncic, because that's going to determine if they're a championship team or not. It's going to be great. He's going to have a lob threat. They can have people that can, where JJ Redick's not playing the same 5 guys for a second half in an NBA playoff game. But what they need And the only thing that's going to elevate them to championship level is Luka Doncic starting in October in shape, getting them off to the races as a real Western Conference contender.
Perk, DeAndre Ayton, the Lakers, make sense or no?
It does make sense, and I believe that is a Beyonce moment for us upgrading at the center position for what they had last year. But I will say this about DeAndre Ayton. The word around the league is not good about DeAndre Ayton. The Portland Trail Blazers were happy as hell that they got to this point with him. Right now, he's been labeled as a diva, as a cancer in the locker room. And if I'm DeAndre Ayton, I got to have a moment. I got to have someone speak the real to me, because we're talking about a former #1 pick that didn't work out with his team, that didn't work out with the Phoenix Suns, a team that drafted him #1. And now you get to the Portland Trail Blazers that were absolutely like happy as hell to get him in the trade. They welcomed him with open arms. They thought he was going to be one of those guys for the future. And now you get to this point, right? And see, what happened is that when you have guys like DeAndre Ayton, you believe that things can happen to you.